Hello, welcome to the final video on branching scenarios in Evolve. Today I'm going to look at things in the behavior menu and the appearance menu to help set up this branching scenario that we've been working through with this series of videos. So let's dive in and have a look. So if we go into the behavior menu, we have lots of different things that we can do. So randomize options does exactly what you would think. So in my default one, I have excellent, good choice, and bad choice. But if I switch on randomize options, then it randomizes them, unsurprisingly. So although that doesn't really make a great deal of difference here, if obviously you wouldn't have excellent choice, good choice, and bad choice, what that will mean is if someone comes to this for the first time and they get it all correct and they don't have to do it again, then that would be good. But if they come back to it and you want to kind of make it them have to reread them and really think about it, then you might want to randomize those choices. So that's what that does. Story mode, if I enable that, instead of every time I make a choice this disappearing and then the next branch appearing, then I get this little story mode. And I can see all the choices I've made and it will go all the way down. I can, if I have a very, very big branching scenario, I might want to maximize that to say like one or two things. So then I can go back and have a look at that. But that would obviously be dependent on how many steps you've got on your branch. You can see here it's got like a little arrow here, but that doesn't really stand up very well. I can adjust that in the appearance section. So the story mode pointer icon color, I'm going to change to white. And now when I make a choice, you can see here it points me down to the next one. So you can adjust that color there. You can also, when you get to the end, decide to put the story mode on so that you can maybe not have it here, but you can have it here, which would mean when I get to the end, you can have the option to show the story mode in the end so you can see all the choices that you made. So you can do it that way as well instead of having it display that way. So that's something to do. And this is obviously the text of the button that appeared there when I got to the end. So you can adjust that as well. You can always mark a branching as correct. So you can do it. So always marks correct. That might be useful if you've set up another way for your course to be assessed and you want to include this branching within that. You can have it always mark as correct, or you can also change that to this end item. So if I go into that, then I can say is correct item. So it only marks as correct if they get to that one. Obviously, if they don't get to that one and I don't want it to be correct, then the component would still get marked as complete because they've come to the end, but it wouldn't necessarily be correct. So you can do it that way as well, if you don't want it to always mark as correct. A marking icon just shows like a little tick if it's correct or an X if it's not correct. So that's what that means. You can allow people to always restart whether they got everything right or not. You can always allow a restart at any point if you have that one on. If you want them to always restart on it instead of setting the component back to incomplete because they haven't gone through it again, you can keep that completion. So maybe they've gone through it once and they might want to revisit it to think, oh, what did I do there? Then you can make sure that it always marks as complete. Even if they decide to restart it like 10 times, then it'll still mark as complete. And you can adjust the restart button text if you wish. If you resume on revisit, so if you close the page and then open it back up, it will remember where you are in the branch. You won't have to start again. The timer we'll look at in just a second, but this is the text that will come up when you do the timer. In fact, let's have a look at it now. So for in the items, not for the beginning one, which again is maybe a slight disadvantage to having that as a beginning one, but you can, for the other ones, enable the timer and you can give it a duration of seconds. So if if I go to excellent choice, you can see here I've got my timer, and when that runs out, it will push me back to the beginning if I haven't made a choice. So I'm just going to take that off, but that's what the timer is. And if you are in behavior, you can see here the text can be edited for what it tells you when you're writing, and you can get rid of that if you want to do as well. Display score, we kind of covered a little bit before in the previous video. That will, as we've said, display the score. And remember from the previous video, if you're in an assessment and you want it to display the relative score, so I've currently got maybe 0 marks out of 20, then you would tick that as well for the score. If you have reset score on first item, we've covered this before in previous videos, but when you get back to the beginning, it will reset the score. So if you wanted people to get it correct, so in the instance we looked at before, where if say a person had got to this one and that wasn't going to be a correct item, and you wanted them to do it again, then that would reset the score. So you don't have a cumulative score, you start from the beginning, which would be useful for that, obviously. Progress bar. If I put the progress bar on, it just displays like this. You can style this in the appearance. If you wish, you can also style it in the theme. I'm not going to go into theming right now, but again, you can take this theme from me if you want. You can do that, but you can make them separate colors. But you have to, in the behavior, obviously, the progress is, say, 100 to represent a percentage, but you have to, in the items, assign the progress milestone percentage. So let's say that would be 50% if you get to that next stage. And the reason for that is if you've got lots and lots of branchings, then the system won't know what you class as 10% or 20% or 30%. So you have to assign it yourself for that progress bar to work. So if I go into that now and make an excellent choice, you can see here it pushed me to 50% because I'm nearly done. And then good choice. You don't have to set percentage progresses for end points or beginning points because it knows that's 0%, it knows that's 100%. It's only for the ones in between. You have to set the progress bar should you wish to show that in your branching scenario. You can also display the branching scenario full screen if you wish. I've got a poster image there that I can pop in there. I've already done. So what does that look like? So if I click on that, you get a start button and it shows my poster image here, which won't look as good maybe on a mobile. So if I wanted to make that a bit better, I could set an image device per size and put the desktop, tablet and mobile image in there. I'm not going to do that today, but you can do that if you wish, and it will push it full screen when you start. It takes away my image because it just goes with the course color, but you can then exit out of that if you wish, if you wanted to have it a full screen one as well, but I'm going to switch that off for now. You can also save the score to a variable, so if you have a score set up, you can set that to a variable, and then of course that variable can be used to create triggers to hide and reveal things based on the score that you got in the variable. So yeah, that's all the things in behavior. We touched a little bit on appearance for some things. Column layout doesn't look as good for how I've got it, but if you wanted to, then you could set up, obviously I'd maybe remove that image and just have text in the choices. Maybe you wouldn't want to put an image in that situation, or put the image to the top. I'm going to take that off for now. This item option radio icon, if I set that to hidden, basically what that does is it removes those little circle points. Those are radio icons. So that's what that does. You can set the item options per row. I've got it 1 for desktop, 1 for tablet, and 1 for mobile. But if I set it to 2, you'd be able to see what that does. Oh, that's because I'm in mobile. Apologies. There we go. That desktop, and set that to 2. Then you can see it's got 2. But if I've got 3 things, that doesn't look as nice. And if you've got long options in terms of text length, then that might not be as good as well. And this will override color options you have in your main theme. So if you wanted the story mode option to be different colors, or you want the progress bar to be a different color than it is in the theme. If we hover over these questions, it tells us, then it'll take the thing from the component item background color. But if you can have a bit more flexibility with the colors by going into appearance for that one as well. So that is how to set up branching scenarios in Evolve. Obviously lots and lots of options, but advantages are we don't have to set up lots and lots of slides with lots and lots of triggers. We can just switch options on and off, and of course things look good on mobile. It's responsive, so it will go in lots of different devices and still look good. So yeah, let me know if you've got any questions, and good luck with it.